With a strong outline, the transition from outline to essay is a much more natural progression. If your outline has followed this structure, your next step will be writing a sentence for each letter in the HAT-RAT, PQCEA, and RSS parts, while always making sure that you are addressing the prompt, sticking to your purpose, and maintaining the central idea in PPCI. When we created the introduction, this is what happened. Each statement we created that addressed the lines in HAT-RAT then became a sentence. The outline of the introduction came to read, Hook. Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment." Author title, and I pushed it back and made sure that that connected to the hook. In the novel, the giver Lois Lowry manages to heighten the reader's awareness of what happened when such individuality is not encouraged. Then I talk about reference to the question. Through the development of a small community setting, Lowry exposes the conflict between individuality and society. A short summary of the story. The foundation of the society in this novel is based on the belief that sameness, everyone should be the same in every possible way to prevent unhappiness. This comes at the cost of many other joys that we know today, such as love and personal celebrations. The protagonist of the story, Jonas, must find a way to come to terms with this or change it. The use of the dystopian society, I'm now talking about the thesis, where the social norms, social rituals, and physical environment prevent individuality from being acknowledged within society. Lowry shows that differences are meant to be celebrated. When we created the body paragraphs, we didn't have any sentences made. We just did point form. Line by line, we will now create the sentences for each of the lines in the paragraph. So point form by point form, line by line, I'm going to take each one of the PQCEA and turn them into a statement. So my juxtaposition between our society and the one that's created in the book becomes Lois uses the context of the reader as a way to contrast social norms between sameness and our reality. For the quote, paraphrase, or specific detail, I'm writing a test, so I don't have any quotes or paraphrases, but I do have a specific detail. So I'm looking at the responsibilities of age, etc. And then I say, in sameness, responsibilities are assigned regardless of the individual's abilities of the child. Innate human feelings are denied after a certain age as if to magically disappear. Then my context, I have to explain where this happens for the reader. So awareness of this becomes apparent to the reader during the exposition of the story, because my notes talk about where it happens early in the story. My notes then talk about evaluation. I say in my notes that it's depicting a strong, rigid rules, the use of predetermined times. I also talk about a child's development is not taken into consideration. I turn that into a statement. It says, in contrast, our society generally allows children to work through these experiences at their own rate of development. This works to create a dissonance between the social norms of the society in sameness and the reader's reality. Finally, I have to do an analysis. What is the effect on the audience? Well, this conflict within the reader's understanding of the world then highlights the importance of individuality during identity development through an appeal to the reader's own sense of individual identity. That statement came from showing being different, expected behavior, and the other notes that I had under analysis in my outline. Once I take the points away, I'm left with a magical paragraph. Lois uses the context of the reader as a way to contrast social norms between sameness and our reality. In sameness, responsibilities are assigned regardless of the individual abilities of the child. Innate human feelings are denied after a certain age as if to magically disappear. Awareness of this becomes apparent to the author during the exposition of the story. In contrast to our society generally allows children to work through these experiences at their own rate of development. This works to create a dissonance between the social norms of the society in sameness and the reader's reality. This conflict within the reader's understanding of the world then highlights the importance of individuality during identity development through an appeal to the reader's own sense of individuality. At this point, I don't want you to necessarily worry about forming these stylistically together. That's something that comes a bit later. Right now, I want to make sure that you have these 5 points in your actual essay. To complete this process, I have to do this 2 more times. Social rituals paragraph. This was my original outline. Now gets broken down into different sentences like this. The paragraph then ends up looking like this. Another contrasting experience happens for the reader in the rites of the passage that are lost through the social rituals in sameness, where all celebrations are made as a group. In the community of sameness, for example, all children are declared to be 1-year-old on the same day every year, regardless of when the child was born. Personal birthdays are highly celebrated in our society, but this is shown to be a violation of social expectations within sameness during the exposition of the story. This extremity emphasizes the importance of not celebrating anything that could be shown to have a person have individuality. The reader is then forced to examine their own celebrations of their individuality and see the benefits in it. Let's go through this one more time. Here is my paragraph on physical setting. Again, I simply take each one of my lines and turn it into a statement. Without the point form, I have a point, quote, context, evaluation, and analysis, and voila, I have my 3rd paragraph. Finally, I return to the conclusion paragraph that I've already created, and I add that to the end to complete and round off my essay. So now it's your turn. Go back through all of your outline, create a statement for each one of the lines, collapse them together, and create your essay. When you're finished, my suggestion is to go back through and make sure that you have all of them by identifying your letters. PPCI is just part of your outline, but HATRAT, PQCEA, and RSS should be identifiable. Good luck!